to Daytona Beach, Florida, home to America's premier muscle car showroom, Hankster's Hot Rods, where we own and house anywhere from 65 to 80 vehicles at any given time. If you are watching the vehicle we are about to present to you today on any other advertisement other than Hankster's website, which is hanksters.com, please be sure to visit our website so you can determine whether this is in fact a current vehicle that we have for sale. If you are watching this on YouTube, on classiccars.com, on Hemmings, this vehicle may no longer be available for sale. We own all of our cars, so you're dealing directly with the seller. There are no third parties involved. We are not a consignment dealership. We welcome all of you to visit Hankster's Hot Rods to look at the vehicle you might be purchasing. We encourage all of our buyers to come in person. Daytona Beach is a great tourist destination. There's a lot to do here. It's a fun 2-3 day trip, maybe even a week-long trip. Come check out our cars for yourself. Check out underneath. We'll take it on a test drive. Have some fun. Hanksters.com, and if you want to reach us by phone, it's 386-944-9219. Enjoy today's presentation.
Okay, this is the engine bay of a 1969 Charger SE. This guy houses a 383 4-barrel, still retains its original cast iron intake manifold. It has its Carter carburetor on it yet. It has power steering, power brakes, and check this out, factory air conditioning. The original Prestolite distributor is still hooked up and functional. It does, however, have a updated transistor ignition system for the distributor. The heat is still hooked up and functional to the the passenger compartment. A new washer bottle on it. A couple of nice fresh horns on it here that I know will work for sure. Correct fan shroud on it. It has a 7-blade flex fan on it at this point. A high capacity, high volume, high flow radiator that came with the air-conditioned cars. Core support has been totally undisrupted. The numbers are still intact on the front of the core support, so you know this guy's never had any trauma or been in any kind of trouble. Fender tag is still nice and legible and clean. Everything in this engine compartment is just as fresh and clean as you would ever hope to find. It does have a set of ceramic coated, look like brand new ceramic coated headers on it, equal length long tube headers on it. New alternator is still yep, someone just put a new alternator on it. Does have the correct dual snorkel air cleaner for 1969 for this car. Also, it has a set of Mopar finned aluminum valve pan covers. Really a great looking engine compartment. These guys made pretty substantial horsepower, a lot of torque, and they were a great running engine. Chrysler used this motor for years and years and years to power their higher end cars, you know, the Chryslers and the Dodges and Plymouths. It's a great, reliable engine, and it's just absolutely as new. There's no indication of any leakage whatsoever from the valve pan covers. Of course, there wouldn't be from the intake. There's nothing there really. And the water pump and timing chain cover, everything appears to be just as dry and nice as you could ever hope to find. We're going to go around the rest of it and show you what we can. Okay, we're going to present to you today a really unique car, 1969 Dodge Charger, very, very sought after vehicle. Phenomenal color, which is the original color on this car too. It's like a copper penny whenever it's new. That's the best way to describe the color. It has a lot of metallic in it. It's a great, great color. Gap, you can see down the hood to the fender, to the cowl area, and down the other side is just as precise as you could ever hope to have any fitment. The finish itself is much better than the driver quality, and certainly better than the car was released with when it was new. The grille has no marks whatsoever in it. The plastic enclosure around it is still argent colored the way it should be. The aluminum anodization on it is just as clean and fresh as it was when it was new. Peekaboo headlights on these guys. 68, 69, and 70 had peekaboo headlights, and everybody liked those. That's a very nice dramatic look. No scuffs or marks on the front bumper. That's a smudge. No marks whatsoever present on the front bumper. There's no indentures in the front through the years. No stones have come up and whacked it. Parking lights are nice and clear and crystal clean. Nice clear lenses the way they were when they were new. Bumper guards coming down and hooking on to the front valance, fascia, and there's no marks or pulls or scuffs or anything on it. Really a nice dramatic looking front end on this car. Going down the side of it, does have the wheel arch opening trim on it to give it a little bit better look, a little more shininess to it. It has a set of Kelsey Hayes wheels on it, road wheels, Plymouth called them, with the correct centers, and they're 15-inch, and a huge set of tires on the back ones. Same deal, a little bit wider rim in the back with some larger tires. Check out the fitment of this guy. Look at this. This is totally amazing. Correct wiper arms, incorrect blades, a more modern Anco type blade on it. The windshield is tinted. The car does have air conditioning. There's a pad across the top, a cover across the top of the dashboard, so I really can't see into it right now. We'll take a look at that once we get inside the car. There's no deterioration on this chrome part of the wing where there usually is. The trim around the windshield itself and the drip rail, there's no marks, there's no indications that brooms have fallen against it through the years. Conventional outside mirror, not a remote one. White vinyl top and a white interior. And check this door gap out again before I open the door here. And the window fitment, look at this. The front glass to the quarter glass, which is also tinted for air conditioning, Chrysler Air Temp designation on it. You can see your locks and latches. Everything is just the way it should be. Nothing's oversprayed. Your door panels, molded panels, are just as nice and fresh that you could ever hope to find in a car. The interior is just exemplary in this thing. Front seat, the back seat, and you can also see that there's seat belts in the back and the front. So you have a whole complement of safety equipment in this one. The horn ring and the steering wheel. No cracks whatsoever, absolutely none. Gauge cluster nice and clean and clear, the way you'd hope to see it. Carpeting has a set of Charger floor mats, carpet mats on it. Also, center console with the shifter on it. Everything is fresh and clean and really, really nice in this car. Even the door jambs in the front, you can see Devin will give you some better high-resolution photos of a lot of this stuff that we're going over, but just as clean and fresh as you'd hope to ever find. The door sills the same way, and they appear to be original, but just as fresh and nice as can be. And look at this, how these doors close. How much better can you get? That's spot on. No marks or scuffs or anything so far on the front part of the car, the doors, or the quarter panels. I don't see a single mark or imperfection at this point. Charger designation on it. The wheels are just exemplary on this car. Beautiful set of nice deep chrome road wheels. Quick fuel cap that Dodge used back in the day. And again, look at the fitment of this deck lid. Totally, totally amazing how everything lines up just the way it should. Rack on the back of it, someone's personal preference. It was an option actually in 6970 to get this rack if you wanted it. Inside the trunk, jacking instructions present. And see, none of this is oversprayed. All these latches and everything are just the way they would have been had the car been assembled. Well, it's a restoration, obviously, but had the car been done new at the factory. And guess what? We do have documentation for the car. We have a slew of bills showing its restoration. There's the Dodge Charger manual, and here is a copy of the actual broadcast sheet. Now, the girl that owned this car claims she does have the original one. She's going through her files. So assuming we do get the original one, you will get an original broadcast sheet, but this is a copy that she has with all of her paperwork with the car. Jack, and we do have a spare also. It's up at the detail shop, and we neglected to get it to put it back in before we pick the car up. So we will have that, and it does have a factory spare with it. Back end of the car, the tail lights are very dramatic in a 69. A lot of guys like the 68s, you know, with the little bullet headlights with the kind of hidden parking light in it, and other guys would rather have a 6970 style, and that's what this guy is. And no marks on this back bumper either. There's absolutely no scuffs or marks present on it. Lower valance, no pulls, no marks on it. The parking or backup lights are just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find. Correct style exhaust tips exiting the back. And look at this. Look at the way everything lines up on this car. I mean, absolutely everything is just a precise fit everywhere you look, everywhere. Passenger side, same as the driver's side. You're going down it, and there's absolutely no indication of any marks or dents or chips or scuffs or scratches. You can't see it, but the hat rack, the hat shelf tray, whatever you want to call it, still has its original speaker perforations in it. It appears to be the original hat tray in it. And the trim around the back, the same as it was on the front. There's no dents or marks or issues whatsoever with it. I forgot to mention on the other side, wipes, whiskers are also absolutely like new, and the door handle on the other side and this side is nice and fresh and clean. And before I open it, you can see that the window fitment is absolutely spot on. And same deal on this side. Original molded armrest, all the chrome, all the accents on the car are just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find on any vehicle. Interior is just exemplary on this car. The interior, the white vinyl and the black contrast really shows up very, very well. It has a white headliner also, and if you look up, you'll see also that it does have shoulder belts in it. So there's a full complement of safety equipment, at least for that era, on this vehicle. Again, our door latches, look how everything is just the way it was when it was released. Absolutely no patina whatsoever on the wing vent area. Correct type base on the antenna for Mopar. Pentastar on the bottom of the right front fender, just the way they were. Side marker lights are all nice and flush. I've neglected to mention the other three, but they all are. They're absolutely precise. And we're back where we started again. And this thing is just an exemplary 1969 Dodge Charger. It's an SE. It is not an RT. It is an SE. So it has a 383 4-barrel in it as opposed to the 440. But it's not six figures either. This car is going to be a very nominally priced car and an incredible condition car. A phenomenal color combination with paperwork, and you can see the fender tag, and also the core support is undisrupted, and you'll see Devin will give you pictures also of the actual VIN tag. Just an exemplary condition car, and it's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. And would really like everybody to come down and look at our cars. You know, we really try to emphasize that. You know, come down and please look at the car. That way we can present it to you in person. Put it up on a rack, take it up and squeal some tires with it and have some fun with it outside. Go over the car. That way you know exactly what you're getting here whenever you buy a car from Hanksters. But if you can't, that's why Devin's going to spend about 5 hours compiling all these little videos that we do and all the photographs into a presentation on our website. It's hanksters.com, and that's going to help you make a decision on buying a car. This is the Dodge Charger. Very few of these out there, and I can tell you for sure there are very few in this condition. So if you're in the market for one, this is one you better take a look at. Okay, this is the undercarriage of our 69 Charger, copper penny color. Really a great car. Drum brakes in the front, of course drum brakes in the rear. Everything appears to be fresh. The tie rod ends appear to be new. Pitman arm appears to be new. Idler arm is the new one with the Zerk fitting in it also. You can see the engine has been out and completely addressed. Everything has been painted Chrysler turquoise, correct color for early '69. The engine is a numbers matching engine in this car, and transmission and rear end. It has a set of long tube ceramic coated headers on it, go into a 3-inch collector that go into a 3-inch primary pipe, transitions back to the mufflers. The starter is the original equipment style starter. I don't believe it's a gear reduction. It's really difficult to tell with the headers in the way, but it appears to be an original equipment style. Let's see here. Subframe's really nice, and they still house their original sound deadener splatter insulating type material that Chrysler put on. There's a dent in the subframe here and in the fender skirting right here. It looks like someone put a jack there or something through the years to try to lift the car up and put a little bit of an indenture there, but certainly nothing to compromise any integrity of the framework on this car. This side has absolutely none, and again you can see that there's no leaks in the engine, bell housing area, transmission, tail shaft, speedometer, gear. None of it has a leak at this point. That doesn't mean somewhere down the line you're not going to find some oil on the floor. It's a muscle car. If it isn't leaking now, it will be. We guarantee it. Brake lines are the original brake lines, still wire wound the way they came from the factory. The original parking brakes still hooked up and functional. The floor pans on this car are the original floor pans, there's no question, and they have not been replaced, nor do they need any attention. They have all their original sound deadener on them, a little bit flaking off here and there, a little tiny bit. H-type pipe and a 3-inch primaries going back to a set of Flowmaster mufflers, which you'll see here quite shortly. Geez, this thing is really nice underneath it. The floor pans where they go over to the rocker panels are still all crimped just the way they should be. Chrysler has their nice sloppy lead the way they did back in the year, still evident. It's a real good indicator of originality. Subframes in the back, a couple pulls where someone got a little overzealous with the tie downs, but other than that, they are original and nice as can be. Your torque boxes in the front are very excellent condition. Big curvature to these rear springs. It has a set of new shocks in the front, new shocks in the rear, and for whatever reason this car's sitting up a little bit. I don't know whether it's the shocks or just a set of brand new springs that they had curved that way. Subframes where they go up over the rear differential, just as fresh and nice as ever. They are really great condition, and I don't know how they did it, but they fit those 3-inch pipes in between the tank and the subframes. The tank, I'm going to call it a new tank. It's too nice to be the original tank. The rear differential is should be a 489 number. I can't really see it from here. The sun's in my eyes, but it's an 8 3/4 inch Mopar heavy-duty rear end. These things are pretty much indestructible. The trunk pans, you can see, appear to be original. The drop downs and the quarter panels, everything still has its original tabs on it yet. Everything appears to be original on this car. I don't see anything that indicates that there's been any work on the structure at any point. At least not from what we see up here and on top. It's a great original car underneath. It at this point has no leaks whatsoever. It's a complete restoration from beginning to end, top to bottom. Flowmaster mufflers, 3-inch pipes out the back. I mean, you got the best of everything in this vehicle. It's a great looking car. It's a 69 Charger, very difficult car to find at this point in time, and this is the nicest one we've seen for a long time. It's here at Hangsters at Daytona Beach, Florida. Okay, 69 Dodge Charger. Again, no cracks on the steering wheel. Usually there are some shrinkage indicated on the steering wheel from age, but this guy has none. Also, it doesn't have a horn. The horn does not want to work for whatever reason. I have no idea. Where is it? Right there. Left turn signal working as it should. Just beating itself to death over there. And the right turn signal working as it should. Gas gauge showing us a little over 1/4 of a tank. Temperature gauge just starting to come up. It was down buried, but now it's starting to come up. We just fired it up. Oil pressure gauge is not functioning at this point, so somehow you're going to get an oil pressure gauge that does work in it. Amp gauge is showing that it is charging. The tach is working. You see the tach works as it should. The clock is not working, and we don't care. And the radio also does not work, and we don't care. We don't do radios and clocks. If they work, they work, and if they don't, they don't. Wipers, however, are functioning as they should. Does have air conditioning. It's not coming on either, so that's another item that we have to repair before we ship the car. We're doing these videos to try to get these cars up on the site as soon as we can, so people can see that we do have them for sale, and in the interim, before we ship them, we get a chance to go ahead and address all the problems that I am pointing out to you. You know, we're not trying to hide anything. We're actually pointing everything out. Now, there was a cover on the outside of the dash whenever we did the video on the outside, but if you see, there is a crack here and a little tiny crack here, but there is a crack on the dash, a small one. I don't know if it warrants replacing a dash. You could probably either fix it a little bit with some Bondo or put the cover back on it, but it does have an imperfection in the dash there. We're going to go for a ride, see what this guy runs like now. Speedometer's working just as it should. Real nice and linear. The tach's working. Temperature coming up. We're about 1/3 of the way up to gauge, which is about normal. And the car runs and drives fine. It's a nice running car. Has a nice exhaust tone to it. We'll get on it a little bit down here. turn around so that you have an idea what the car runs like. A little bit of an idea. We've got a lot of traffic on the road here today. Again. Alright, that's about 75 there, so I think we ought to shut her down. Car pulls just like it should. I mean, it's a nice sounding car, has a nice crisp exhaust note to it, not objectionably loud, but you know it's there. It's a very nice running car. The transmission has nice, firm, definitive shifts to it. It's a very, very nice running car. Couldn't hardly get anything any nicer than this in a Mopar. Great color combination too. And you know what? We forgot to show you. We'll do it whenever we stop. The hood-mounted turn signals are also, I believe, functional on this car. We can try them now, though, if you want. Let's try the left one first. Yep, it's working. You can see it working out there. And now the one on the inside, the right one. I can't see. Is it working? No, it's not working. So the right turn signal in the hood has to be fixed also. So we have a few issues on this car to go ahead and attend to before we ship the car, but there's nothing wrong with the integrity of this vehicle is really top notch. Just a lot of little tiny things that we have to go ahead and address. And we're going to do that for you before we sell it to you. So take a look at it. It's at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida.